Hello and welcome to episode 2 of... So it was great to see such a nice response to episode 1 and lots of friends up for having a go at tying some knots, or at least making up puns about doing so. I meant to mention in the first episode what we're going to use to tie these knots with. Now I'm just using a short length of plaited rope. You can easily find something similar down at your local hardware shop or on the internet, or if you don't have anything like that to hand, you can easily just use a piece of string, a shoelace, a bit of wool, or even a dressing gown cord or a washing line. So the second knot we're going to look at in this series is called the Clove Hitch. Clove hitches are used to fix ropes to inanimate objects like posts. There's two main ways to tie and use the Clove Hitch. We're going to look at the first one today. Now then, the Clove Hitch has got a lot of good points and one drawback. The good things about it are it's very quick and easy to tie and to untie. It can take a lot of load and strain. The only slight problem with it is it doesn't do so well if the direction of the pull that's being put on it changes from what it was when it was tied. So we tend to use the Clove Hitch for reasonably short-term jobs, or jobs where the direction of pull isn't going to change. For example, you might use it on a boat when you're hanging fenders over the side, tying fenders onto the line that are going to protect the side of the boat. Obviously gravity isn't going to change, so the direction of pull is going to stay what it was where you tied it. Similarly, for a short-term job, you often use the Clove Hitch on a tall ship when you're reefing the sails and piling them up on top of the yard and then passing a gasket around them, a gasket rope around the sail to keep it bunched up on top of the yard. You can use a Clove Hitch there because chances are you're going to want to break that sail out again in a few hours when the wind changes. So you don't want to tie anything too permanent because it's dangerous up there. You don't want to be faffing around trying to get some complicated knot undone. The Clove Hitch is perfect for that. So the first use for the Clove Hitch is to tie a rope securely to an object that doesn't have any ends, like this post here. When a rope goes around an object and back on itself, that's called a turn. If it goes all the way around fully and off in the other direction, that's called a round turn. But the Clove Hitch, like a lot of other knots that are used to fix ropes to objects, makes use of a device to strengthen the grip of this round turn, whereby instead of these two here being parallel, these two loops, what we're going to do is take our loose end and cross it diagonally over the standing part of the rope, which locks it against this post. This now can't go anywhere. And to finish the Clove Hitch, all we have to do is take our loose end and tuck it under the diagonal loop, parallel with the other one, and tighten everything up by pulling both ends of the knot. You should have a nice symmetrical shape like that. That's the Clove Hitch. Now, as I mentioned before, that's great provided the direction of pull stays this way. It doesn't do so well if the direction of pull starts to change. You can see it can work itself loose, and that's why it's best used on certain jobs and not others. So that's the first use for Clove Hitches. Have a go at that, and I'll see you in a day or two for part 2.